CNN Chief National Affairs Analyst Casey Hunt, and our senior political commentator Adam Kinzinger. Defense attorney Shan Wu is joining us right now as well. Shan, let me just quickly get your thoughts on the breaking news that we're following right now from a legal perspective.
Right. I think there are important differences here, obviously, in terms of the scale and the number of documents involved. And I think what you're seeing here, it sounds like it was a referral to DOJ, and so Garland is moving promptly. And I would guess that both the referral as well as the speed of Garland's actions reflects the concern over making sure that they appear even-handed in the treatment here. And so there will be a full investigation to talk to who was handling it. The chain of custody is really important. And also, to both Jamie and Evan's point, if we're talking about a potential criminal charge, then of course the intent is very important. I mean, there's certainly a difference between mistakes and intentional violations. So all of that needs to be looked at, and I think that's what they're promptly doing right now.
Yeah, they certainly are. Adam Kinzinger, you're now a CNN contributor. Let's get your thoughts, since you were obviously a key member of the January 6th Select Committee as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, everything from the legal perspective that everybody said is correct. There's going to be nuances. I'll tell you, the U.S. Attorney in Chicago is a very fair man, Mr. Lausch, and so I think we can trust his word. Politically, there's not going to be seen as much of a difference, because the only thing in this kind of era where there's all this information that hits you from different sides and we kind of get information overload, the only thing that's needed right now by the former president is to be able to throw doubt and say, look, this happened too over here. So from a political perspective, this is actually probably pretty bad, not just for the president, but really for the idea of getting to justice through the political system. Now, there will be a lot more details to come out. The question is who is interested in the nuances, or who's interested in just simply saying, see, it happened over here too. And let me just say real quick too, as a guy that's wrapping up, I had wrapped up my office in Congress. I never once saw anything that we had archived. We have to archive our stuff. That was 100% staff work. So in terms of the details of this, I think that'll be important to figure out.
Yeah, that chain of custody is really going to be critical in this investigation that has now begun. David Chalian, from the political perspective, whatever happens, this is very awkward for President Biden and his team, given the investigation, the criminal investigation that's been going on involving the classified documents found at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, nuance doesn't really have a space in this political aspects of this, like it does in the legal aspects here, Wolf. And this will be a huge political gift to Donald Trump, who hasn't had many political gifts of late, to be able to play off of this, as Congressman Kinzinger was saying. Listen, the Biden team will undoubtedly point to what is materially different here. The more than 300 classified documents at Mar-a-Lago versus fewer than a dozen documents here. We have no idea what the content is of this. I understand Jamie talked about the classification level, but we don't know what the content is. And, of course, the cooperation piece. I mean, after all that time back and forth between the archives and the Trump team, the needing for a search warrant to go in, obviously none of that was needed as Biden's attorneys immediately put all into motion the processes that bring us to this moment. They'll point that out to the blue in the face, but this new House Republican majority, they just bumped up on their to-do list the Biden document case that is going to be front and center now and used as a shield for Donald Trump and as a bit of a sword for this new Republican majority in the House.
Well, and Wolf, we should just note that they're already doing that. I mean, I think our control room has found a tweet from the House Judiciary GOP. That's the AP version of this story. You can see the number of sirens that they have put atop this particular headline. And to the congressman's point, I mean, there is nothing nuanced about that tweet. That is the political version of the tweet, and these are the people that ultimately are going to take this information, going to have subpoena power and the gavel in the Republican-held House to do what they will with this. And, you know, I think that's really the challenge for the Biden folks. I mean, I have yet to start to reach out to my political sources on this, as this was just, you know, breaking here as we came on the air, but I can already hear the Democratic strategists groaning about the fact that now every time they want to try to bring up what happened with former President Donald Trump, which is incredibly problematic for all the reasons we've laid out, they're now going to have to answer questions about this. And from a political perspective, it also it almost makes it like a neutral issue, despite the fact that there are very significant differences between finding this information, handling it appropriately, doing the right thing when you find out you've screwed up, versus dragging out the process for, who knows why, refusing those subpoenas, eventually having to force federal investigators to demand you give those. I mean, obviously, both of these camps handle these sets of documents very differently, and there are plenty of people that are going to be making those points. But the reality is, this is the win that, that David Chalian was talking about for the Trump team at a time when they haven't had many.
Yeah, a very important point indeed. Manu Raju, our chief